A very good morning to Ms. Wai and my fellow friends. Today I'll be presenting the effects of COVID-19 on university students' mental health with Lei Zongling. So, to start off, what is COVID-19? COVID-19 is actually an infectious disease caused by a newly discovered coronavirus. Most people who fall sick with COVID-19 will experience mild to moderate symptoms and recover without special treatment. As of the 3rd of March 2021, the total confirmed infections of COVID-19 have skyrocketed to almost 121 million since the pandemic started in early February of 2020. This is based on Worldometer website. As of the background of studies, COVID-19 has not only caused significant damages to the global economy, but also to the education sector all around the world. This is because various countries have taken immediate actions in limiting the spreading of the virus by implementing effective lockdowns where every type of social activity is restricted in entire cities, including the closure of university campuses. Furthermore, the effect of the coronavirus on human social distancing policies, human health, and economy policies have made new changes in people's daily life, which in turn have serious effects on individual mental health. The leading issue that obstructs and affects college students' academic performance is their mental health and well-being. A large number of academic studies have also found out that the COVID-19 disease has drastically affected people's mental health and behaviors. During lockdowns, students in many countries even experience increasing levels of depression, anxiety, the lack of self-esteem, and even suicidal thoughts. When the nature of academic educational experience changes radically, students especially are vulnerable to the various burdens of mental health as they are unable to reach out as often as when they are physically present on campus. Mental health problems can seriously influence students' academic success and socialization skills, therefore affecting their future career choices and individual opportunities. To move on to the problem statement, the COVID-19 pandemic, which resulted in an ensuing economic downturn, have had damaging effects on people's mental health, especially university students around the world. Many recent studies on COVID-19 have also revealed the obstacles and challenges brought by COVID-19 pandemic on college students' physical and mental health. This shows that the need of students and educational institutions to identify the effects of COVID-19 on mental health and possibly tackling the challenges. However, education institution has only been prioritizing on the physical wellness of college students and overlook on issues related to mental health. Therefore, this research aims to examine the effects on impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic on university students' mental health while seeking for better solutions. And to move on, for the significance of studies, primarily the findings of this research would be crucial for university students as the research study aims to analyze and identify the major effects of COVID-19 that are currently affecting the mental health of university students. If university students were to able to identify the effects of COVID-19 that are influencing their mental health and possible solutions, it may help enhance and improve their overall mental health that affects their learning capabilities and productivity. Likewise, it is important for students to pay attention to the changes of their mental health due to COVID-19 as it can contribute to various mental distress. On top of that, high levels of mental distress can possibly lead to suicidal intent that would ultimately destroy one's academic success. Therefore, university students must truly understand the effects of COVID-19. Next, this research study would provide much needed insights for education institutions to assess the effects of COVID-19 on mental health of students. As recent studies have revealed that universities are currently prioritizing on the physical health of university students around the world. Therefore, universities may be able to take strategic actions in providing and supporting their students in terms of mentally during this pandemic season. Psychologically, counseling services may be provided as it is essential to the mental health of students. Hence, this study would bring about the need of educational institutions to support the mental health of university students. And lastly, for the research questions, the first one, what is the relationship between COVID-19 and university students' mental health? And the second, what are the effects of COVID-19 on university mental health? This is the research questions that I've bring out, and thank you guys for listening.
Now, for the literature review, we have 4 subtopics. The first one is COVID-19 quarantine and mental health. COVID-19 has brought multiple changes to the human society, and COVID-19 quarantine is one of the major factors that are influencing mental health of college students. According to Mayo, COVID-19 quarantine is directly connected to deterioration of mental health of college students, as the result shows that 234 students strongly agreed that quarantine has caused mental issues, while 125 students strongly agreed that quarantine has caused depression, and 2/3 of the students felt the feeling of hopeless, exhaustion, and mood swings during quarantine. While another study by Chen discovered that isolation policies adopted by countries around the world have contributed to the growth in mental health issues among young college students. The result shows that the most high risk of mental health were depression, fear, neurasthenia. It has also shown that quarantine isolation policies for COVID-19 has a direct influence on mental health of college students. Both studies have displayed that COVID-19 quarantine is directly connected to the deterioration of mental health. And going on to the next literature review, COVID-19 change in learning environment on mental health. The change in learning environment of college students due to COVID-19 is one of the other major current factor that affects mental and psychological health of college students. According to Conrad, change in learning environment is negatively impact mental health of college students. As shown by him, factors such as relocation and change in learning environment was correlated to the increase in mental and psychological symptoms such as depression, anxiety, and PTSD. The results also shown that 1/3 of the students that participate in the sample has reported growth in COVID-19 related mental issues and emotions such as grief and generalized anxiety more than other students that have not relocated from campus. And in conclusion, the study above shows that the change in learning environment from physical to online mode negatively impacts the mental health of college students. Going on to the third literature review, COVID-19 government policies on mental health. The implementation of government policies such as nationwide lockdown due to COVID-19 is certainly one of the major factors affecting university students' mental health. According to a study done by Gianna Pohl, government policies can greatly affect students' mental health, as the results revealed a significant increase in GAD-7 and PHQ-9 scores from month to month during lockdown period. Girls especially scored higher than boys, and the proportion of anxiety level increased from 28.3% before to 49.5% during lockdown. As shown in another study by Camilla, they discovered that students use maladaptive coping strategies to cope with mental distress caused by government-imposed policies. And the result shows that about 31% of the participants experience a certain amount of anxiety caused by restriction imposed by COVID-19. It also shown that many participants would rather be willing to find other measures than seeking mental support from others. And in conclusion, both studies have shown that government policy have significantly affect students' mental health. And different kinds of policies, such as economic policies, finance policies, are all major factors. Going on to the last subtopic, COVID-19 pre-existing conditions on mental health. Although COVID-19 pandemic has been an unprecedented impact on college students' mental health around the world, but students with or without pre-existing mental health are also one of the vulnerable group of people during this pandemic. According to Hamza et al., they discovered that students without pre-existing mental health conditions are most at risk of mental distress during the pandemic. As the result shows, college students with pre-existing mental health issues before the pandemic has shown definitive improvement in mental health compared to students with none. And college students with no experience with mental health conditions are struggling to cope with the stress and anxiety brought by COVID-19. As stated by previous studies, it can be concluded that the effects of COVID-19 on university students are evident and clear. all literature has shown different factors of COVID-19 that are currently the detrimental factor on the mental health of college students and university students. To reduce the effects of COVID-19 among university students, we need to examine various factors of COVID-19 influencing mental health, such as quarantine, change in learning environment, government policies, and pre-existing mental health conditions. Recent findings from past studies only focus on certain effects, especially quarantine factor, while identifying the overall effects of COVID-19 on university students' mental health. There are only a few recent research that studies on the relationship between COVID-19 and mental health, especially the pre-existing mental health conditions factor. Hence, the current study hopes to examine the relationship and the effects of COVID-19 on university students' mental health through 4 of the effects of COVID-19 to establish precision results. Thank you.